This week on 49ers Cal High Sports, we take to the water with the Los Lomas sophomore, who's one of the best skiers in the nation. We'll meet the prolific prep stars who traveled a long way to play this season.
We'll also have the emotional story of the Marin Catholic cross-country runners and their love for their coach, and the South City softball player who has made tremendous strides to get back to the sport she loves. It's all next on 49ers Cal High Sports.
Welcome to 49ers Cal High Sports, presented by U.S. Bank. I'm Robert Braunstein.
And I'm Aubrey Tolliver. We begin tonight on the water in Rio Linda with one of the very best water skiers in the nation.
Aubrey, this Los Lomas sophomore is a rising star in the water skiing world with great skill and agility, and all at a very young age. Life for Carter Reese is a whole lot of fun. He spends every available moment on the water.
In the summer, basically, we just stay out here all the time. And like Monday through Friday, we ski here. And then usually on the weekend, there's tournaments. And then around the middle, we go start traveling for some of the bigger tournaments.
The bigger tournaments included this past summer's national championships. Carter finished first in the 14 to 16 age group in the slalom and all around. Part of an impressive resume for this sophomore.
So I have won nationals this year, and I've won regionals several times, and I got second at nationals a few years ago too.
Everything was going great for Carter until this one run that went very wrong.
Down to his last two jumps. Let's see what he's got. Oh, very aggressive. Whoa, and he's down off the ramp.
Yeah, I was doing the jump event, and I just came off the ramp, and one of my skis kind of fell, and I spun around, and my ski ripped off and broke my foot.
Carter's foot is now healed and he is back in the water. The COVID outbreak allows him to live at the lake and study remotely at Los Lomas. Now one of the top water skiers in the nation, it all started many years ago.
I really got started when we lived in Michigan. We started wakeboarding, and we went to a tournament and we saw water skiing, and my middle brother saw it and really got hooked on it, and I kind of just followed his path.
Carter has a great time on the water, enjoying every aspect of the sport, especially the speed. Carter competes in a variety of events, including jumps and slalom.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of speed, like control and timing that you have to create to not have slack and stop your momentum.
Carter hopes to keep advancing in the sport. He'll move up an age group this season and knows that means a lot more time on the water. Carter's coach says that should be no problem.
He's ready. He won the nationals this last year, and his skill set is there, and he's just on a huge trajectory up. So I don't foresee him having any trouble transitioning to the older age class, but I really see him being a threat next year right away.
I really like the elevation. You can see yourself getting better scores. Like, it's more fun when you start getting these better scores and you see who you can start competing against, and it's a lot of fun there.
Carter's goal is to compete at the highest level of the sport.
My goal would probably be to go to all these bigger worlds and go on some of these pro tour events and compete.
Carter Reese is at his most comfortable when he's on the water. Spending time with his water skiing friends in the summer sun is where he wants to be. The coronavirus has worked out well for Carter. He's able to live at a mobile home right next to the water, do his schoolwork remotely, and get lots of time ripping the wake.
He is pretty good at that.
Very talented, a lot of fun.
Awesome. Stevens Creek Chevrolet brings us the Spirit Corner each week.
This week featuring one of the best high school cheer teams in the area, the San Rafael Bulldogs, performing their national championship routine from earlier this year. Coming up, the San Leandro football star with big-time family support during this crazy time.
And we meet the El Camino softball player who thought she may never pitch again. You'll meet Taylor Hardley later on in the show.
Some see a grilled cheese sandwich and ask why. I see a new kitchen with a grill and ask why not.
I really need to start adding less to cart and more to savings.
Sitting on this couch so long made me want to make some changes, starting with this couch.
Yeah, I need a house with a different view. And this is the bank that will help you do it all. Because at U.S. Bank, our people are dedicated to turning your new inspiration into your next pursuit.
When I first came here, my goal was to be a contributing player on my high school's JV football team. The center actually not only helped me achieve my goals, but exceed even what I initially set out to do. I was able to continue playing football professionally through a lot of the things that I learned at the Rega Center. The Rega Center is a place to help you achieve your goals and then, tailor it to whatever the person's goals might be.
1, 2, 3.
Get ready to cheer for your next new or used car at Stevens Creek Chevrolet.
Stevens Creek Chevrolet!
We're ready to make your buying experience safe and easy. Come to our dealership to see and test drive one of hundreds of great Chevrolet cars and trucks. Or you can go online to shop, order, and have your new car delivered right to your door. So get fired up for a great deal right here at
Stevens Creek Chevrolet!
It's understandable to feel anxious, stressed, or lonely because of COVID-19. Physical separation, your own health, and the health of friends and family can weigh heavily on you. Call a timeout on work. Get a game plan for mental wellness with crucial mental health resources from CalHope. We'll help you carry the ball. Call 1-833-317-HOPE to talk to someone who can help, or visit calhope.dhcs.ca.gov. CalHope, official partner of the San Francisco 49ers.
49ers Cal High Sports is brought to you by these fine companies who care about high school sports. By Invisalign, transforming smiles, changing lives. By Stevens Creek Chevrolet, find new roads. By Wingstop, order Wingstop's new all-in bundle, just $19.99. See wingstop.com for restrictions and details. And by Cupertino Electric, the company delivering power and possibilities and celebrating student athletes making a positive impact.
Welcome back to Levi's Stadium. You know, the coronavirus has affected us all in very different ways.
That's right. Danielle Podlosky is here with the story of Josh Nisa and his huge Tongan family.
San Leandro defensive lineman Josh Nisa lives at home with his huge extended family. While life can be chaotic and oftentimes challenging, the Nisas are thankful for the time spent together. Dinner time at the Nisa household is anything but normal. San Leandro defensive lineman Josh Nisa sits down to eat every night alongside his huge Tongan family.
It's very fun. You can never get too much family in one place at one time. Sometimes it can be a little out of control, but my mom, my dad, and like my auntie, my uncle, they're always able to reel it back in and just have a good time no matter what.
Josh is the second oldest of the kids, whose ages range from 17 years old all the way down to just 5 months.
You got a good range at home right now, so sometimes the kids are taking a break, or they're also babysitting and helping out with the little ones. So it's been a great team effort from everybody, even the kids.
When it comes to mealtime, everyone lends a helping hand.
My wife's the head cook, and she has her sister there too, so they're the main cookers, and they do a great job. And we just come up there and we try to help. We do the dishes, we do the cleaning, they cook, and then it's amazing food all the time. So I tell these guys they're spoiled. So they're lucky they got some great chefs at home.
With so many people and a pandemic, life at home can be chaotic. But the Nisas aren't taking all the extra time together for granted.
A lot of family time, We just got closer as one, and I feel like nothing can separate us right now. I just want to keep on staying with them and rocking with them forever.
It's definitely brought us a lot closer. We start to appreciate family a lot more. And I think we're building a lot of great memories too right now.
When not at the dinner table, family is still on Josh's mind. On the field, Josh gives it his all, knowing the sacrifices that his family has made for him to play the sport he loves.
I feel like they've just been sacrificing a lot for me and my siblings. It goes from anywhere from, sparing a little money that they had just so I can give me some food before practice. And like when they spend like their money on me, I feel like, what do they have to do for themselves? So I just feel like every little thing that they do, I just appreciate it 10 times more.
Just a junior, Josh recorded a West Alameda County Conference leading 5 sacks last year. He is hoping to get some looks from major colleges this season. Josh believes an offer would make everything his family has done worth it.
I feel like I'll feel guilty if I don't make it out or I don't get any offers and don't get an education at least. If I do that, then I feel like all this is gonna be a waste. So I'm spending their money and stuff on all my training and just trying to make sure that I can do my best.
But the Nisas are happy to make the sacrifices for Josh to achieve his dream.
We tell him to, chase his dream, and we're there to support him. Don't ever feel like, you're guilty because we're doing things for him. But, all of our kids, we tell them, you have a dream, we're going to help you chase it. No matter what your football, volleyball, baseball, we'll make the sacrifices to try to chase it for them.
Josh Nisa comes from a large, close-knit family, a supportive family that would do anything for one another. Living as a big family presents its own challenges, but the Nisas wouldn't have it any other way. Josh is excited to get the season started and is looking forward to having one of the largest cheering sections in the stands.
Yeah, a large family. He's a large guy, and that looked like... Did you bring any of the food back for us, Aubrey?
It was so good. They gave me a to-go box, and it was one of the best meals I've had.
It looked really good. All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Each week, Lexus of Stevens Creek presents the Volunteer Award, part of the Lexus of Stevens Creek commitment to promoting volunteerism.
This week's Volunteer Award goes to Daisy Monapau, a senior at Lick Wilmerding High School. Daisy volunteers with the San Francisco Recreation and Parks Emergency Child and Youth Care Program. The program serves as a way to ensure parents on the front lines of COVID-19 have child care so they can continue to attend work while schools are closed. Daisy talks about why it's so important for her to volunteer.
I think it's really important to volunteer because it's a way to give back to the community in a really positive and impactful way. And in my case, I volunteer with children, and I'm really fortunate that I'm able to volunteer at a place that I actually grew up in. So it's like I'm able to give back to that organization in a way that they gave to me when I was a kid. It's really awesome, really, to kind of influence the children here in a positive way and just make just make them feel good at what they're doing.
Coming up, the life-changing moment for El Camino's Taylor Hardley.
And later, meet the prolific prep stars making their way from Africa to the United States.
People is asking me what I got on. They be like, hey, Brandon, what you got on? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Invis is everything braces isn't. More comfortable, fewer emergency appointments. Invisalign.
Every day, the sun comes up. And right on cue, the work begins. We start every morning, knowing full well we're in it for the long haul. Our work is a labor of love. No task too small, no moment uncherished. And although we're not often thanked, we rest knowing that our work is making a brighter future. This is more than milk.
Go to SB Live California as your destination for the very best in local high school sports coverage online. SB Live brings sports fans exclusive articles, highlights, coaches, polls, and photo galleries. Get the SB Live app for the latest scores from games played all around the Bay Area and California. This season, SB Live brings you exclusive content in partnership with 49ers Cal High Sports. Follow us at SB Live CA on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. SB Live, the Bay Area's first destination for the latest in high school sports.
Invis is everything braces isn't. Eating the food you love, life uninterrupted. Invisalign.
Hi, we're the Washington High School cheerleaders, and you're watching
49ers Cal High Sports Report.
Each week, U.S. Bank helps us bring you stories of inspirational athletes who amaze us.
Back in 2019, Taylor Hardley went to school on a normal game day, and that was also the day that changed her life. A few members of the El Camino softball team are enjoying their first moments on their brand new field. It feels like a new beginning for the Colts softball team, especially for their senior pitcher, Taylor Hardley.
I just remember waking up in the hospital, and that's it.
March 19th, 2019, she was, me and my wife dropped her off at school like any other normal day.
That day, I was really happy going to school. It was a completely normal day. My best friend Jamie, my catcher, I always met her by my locker in the morning. And that morning I walked to her, but I just didn't feel right.
We had a game that day, and I remember her saying that she wasn't feeling good, and I was like, oh no, like all I could think of was like, she's our pitcher. and then she was like, Jamie, like I really don't feel good. And I was like, okay, Tay, I'll take you to the office. And as we're going down, she just started like stumbling, and I was like, uh-oh.
We hurry back to the school. We find out that she's like seizing and having seizures, and we didn't know what was going on. You know, they were asking all these questions like if she was doing drugs or anything like that, you know. And I understand those questions, but I was like, you know, my little girl doesn't do those things. At least I didn't think, you know. And I told them to the best of my knowledge, no, she's not doing anything like that. And we ended up finding out that, you know, she had basically a brain hemorrhage. It was really, 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 all I could describe, it was surreal. It was unbelievable.
A blood vessel in Taylor's brain had ruptured because of an undiagnosed AVM. See, some of the blood vessels in Taylor's brain are tangled, making it difficult for oxygen and blood to flow. Then, on March 19th, a blood vessel popped.
And she was in the hospital from that day up until the middle of May. We were afraid that she wasn't going to wake up. But it's tough thinking about those things just because how far she's come. But she battled through it. I mean, she woke up one day and she was, she didn't know who we were.
Every morning, my mom explained to me what happened. I couldn't remember anything. It was terrible. I had to be reminded where I was and what was going on. And there was a while there where I finally realized I was in the hospital, and that's what was going on. But I had to be explained to almost every day what had happened.
At first, like I said, she didn't know who we were, and we were scared at that point. Things about her personality just started to shine through. For some reason, she started singing everything and anything. She started singing the national anthem out of the blue.
Taylor was in the hospital for 3 months, but back at home, her community was fighting alongside her.
The softball community and all the donating they did was able to keep my parents with me and them to stay by my side and my friends by my side and everything.
A lot of the schools, especially around the area, Notre Dame and them, they did a game and raised money. Then we had a big fundraiser and they raised, I think, almost $50,000, I think. It was crazy.
All the teams from San Mateo County came out to support her and did an amazing fundraiser for her. It was just so awesome.
It meant everything. I never imagined there'd be so many people behind me. Like I had all of San Mateo, all of South City, all of San Bruno. Everybody was there for me, and it was fantastic to just know that I had a huge community of people there to support me. It really got me back up again.
Today, Taylor is happy to have her life back to normal. Well, almost.
My memory is a lot better. It's not completely there, but I'd say it's like 5 times better than it was before.
But Taylor isn't out of the woods quite yet.
This malformation in her brain, they couldn't operate on it. They could only, at that time, they could only drain the fluid from her brain. She responded really good to that. Unfortunately, the malformation is still there.
Doctors say it will take 3 years of radiation treatment to shrink the size of the malformation. Until then, doctors told Taylor there is a chance she could have another hemorrhage.
It kind of kept me like almost in sort of a depressed state because I wanted anything but for that to happen again. I can't imagine going through that again, but I do have to be prepared that it could. My toughest point was being in rehab, like after the hospital, because I realized how close I was to home, but I just wasn't there yet. So I think that was the hardest for me emotionally.
The brain hemorrhage took Taylor's sophomore season from her, and when she arrived back home from the hospital last May, Taylor almost immediately began to make up the time she had lost.
I think it was like right after me and my dad decided to go out and pitch again, and I was happy I could do it. It was like nothing ever happened, because when I'm on the mound, there's just nothing else. That's my place.
I remember we were in a tournament at, it was in Pleasanton, and when she threw that first pitch and the sound of the ball hitting the glove and all that, we just all kind of looked at each other and was like, this is unbelievable. It's close to just over a year and she's actually thrown the ball. And it just shows you the drive she had, that she wanted to come back and play the game. You know, most people would take their time and just relax, and she worked real hard to get to where she's at.
It felt surreal, to be honest. It was just, because for a point there, I didn't think I would get back to it. Because I didn't know if I'd be able to be mentally prepared to catch a ball and do all of those things. And I proved them wrong, and I was able to do it.
And the thing that actually motivated her the most was this one doctor told her that she was really, really smart, but she would just be smart after this. And she actually took offense to that.
This was a doctor that I didn't even talk to through my recovery. And to hear that from somebody I barely knew, I ended my junior year in straight A's, and I thought that was the biggest accomplishment.
She's motivated to move forward and just be Taylor again.
Taylor went in for her latest MRI at the beginning of October and received incredible news from her doctor.
The AVM is shrinking, so it's getting there. It really is. So to know it's even smaller is just, it's amazing to feel that and think that it could be gone soon.
A year and a half ago, Taylor hardly was in the hospital. And now, on her brand new field, it's like she hardly left. The AVM in Taylor's brain is shrinking, which is fantastic news because it lessens the chance of her having another aneurysm. It was unbelievable how quickly her community rallied behind her. Amazing.
Yeah, and even more amazing is that she's back and doing great. And
it was like the second she came home from the hospital, she was back pitching. Crazy.
All right, looking forward to covering her this spring.
Yes, she's going to be pretty good, I think.
All right, Wingstop brings us the Wings of an Angel honor each week, where a student athlete talks about their favorite teacher.
Here's Connor Kane from Homestead High School talking about his favorite teacher, Mr. Nefrata.
My favorite teacher is Mr. Nefrata at Homestead, and he was my favorite teacher because he kept it real with everyone throughout class, and he told you the truth of how you were doing, and he didn't really lie to you. And Homestead is a very stressful school in general because it has very high academic expectations. And his main goal is just to have everyone just to have fun and be happy and just chill out and relax. And I really appreciated that because a lot of AP classes can really take a toll on lots of people. So.
Our Wings of an Angel teacher will receive a Wingstop gift card for doing such a great job.
Wingstop is also honoring Terry Blanchard, a Wingstop owner who passed away this past spring from COVID-19. Wingstop will be supporting scholarships for athletes of color in Terry's honor. Those scholarships to be presented at our end of the season awards banquet in June.
Coming up, 2 cross-country champions honoring their fallen coach.
And later, how one coach helped this CCS champion reach her goal.
Are you ready to sink your teeth into a lemon pepper, sweet and spicy Korean cube-tastic mango habanero
master class in all things wings?
Yes, I am.
Are you though?
I'll take that.
All right. Get the new all-in bundle for just $19.99. Available for delivery and carry-out for a limited time. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
It's understandable to feel anxious, stressed, or lonely because of COVID-19. Physical separation, your own health, and the health of friends and family can weigh heavily on you. Call a timeout on work. Get a game plan for mental wellness with crucial mental health resources from CalHope. We'll help you carry the ball. Call 1-833-317-HOPE to talk to someone who can help, or visit calhope.dhcs.ca.gov. CalHope, official partner of the San Francisco 49ers.
Piercy Honda, located right off Highway 880 in Milpitas, is where you will find hundreds of new and pre-owned Hondas to choose from. Low credit score, no credit, first-time buyer? No problem, Piercy Honda can help. Find us online at piercyhonda.com to search our inventory, calculate your payments, and even complete your purchase. Piercy Honda is home to great customer service, great deals, and a more convenient way to buy a new or pre-owned Honda. Go to Piercy Honda in Milpitas.
The Guzmans were about to close on a home they adored, but at the last minute, their mortgage company denied their loan because the unusual home didn't meet their usual loan requirements. Heartbroken, they turned to Tri-Counties Bank home mortgage loan specialist Vincent Pagera, specializing in custom loans for unique homes. His team quickly designed a creative solution, uniting the Guzmans and their home just in time. That's a perfect match. For personalized problem solving, switch to Tri-Counties Bank. Service with solutions.
49ers Cal High Sports is brought to you by these fine companies who care about high school sports. By DGDG.com, where we want you to be a happy car buyer. By the Rikers Center, where goals and dreams become a reality. By Tri-Counties Bank, service with solutions. 12 locations now open in the Bay Area. And by the Serena Group, here for good.
I'm Kathleen Pazine with Serena Group Real Estate, and I'm proud to support Bay Area high school sports on the 49ers Cal High Sports Report.
We are back at Levi Stadium with this week's DGDG.com feature story.
Allie Williams joins us now with the story of the two cross-country champions and the memory of their fallen coach.
Gigi Clifford and Sam Wallenstrom are captains on Marin Catholic's track and cross-country teams. They've learned to love running first, winning second, but they had no idea that the coach teaching them these important lessons would be gone so soon.
If an athlete is lucky, they'll have a coach that understands them. If they're even luckier, they'll have one that changes their life.
He took so much time out of his day, out of his week, out of his whole life to come and train with us.
He was like a friend, and he was also like a mentor, and I think that was something that was really important because most times coaches, they're just strictly your coaches, and so he had that other aspect to him where he could get down on our level and really relate to us in that different way.
Mark Rickman coached cross-country and track at Marin Catholic, and his passion for life and running touched everyone. So when Mark went missing in June of last year, the community was desperate to find him.
We were about to go and run with our head coaches, Tim and Diana, and my mom received a call that morning, and they said that their friend was missing.
They specifically didn't tell us who it was, just not to worry us.
And that a search and rescue team was off and finding them.
You know, he was out there and something happened and he flipped and he probably couldn't get back on the boat. And we went out and did 2 days of search and rescue. We searched both sides of Tomales Bay, and they ended up finding his body about a week later after he went missing.
The news crushed everyone. One of the first things Gigi did was find Sam.
She just runs into the house and is really shaken up. We just spent that night with our captains and with our teammates, and then we went over to our head cross-country coaches.
The door knocks, and it's probably 15 kids. So we had a moment, and you know, Gigi brought cookies and ice cream, and we sat around and we began healing right there.
As captains, Gigi and Sam had to be part of the leadership that navigated through the tragedy.
We were captains last year, but also Lyle Ruman, who's running at Cal Poly right now. He was our senior captain, and so was Maddie Dowd. And I think that they
really took that initiative and were like, we need to heal and we need to remember it.
For us, that's something that we really took in stride and all kind of came together with that idea that we are running for Mark, but we are also running because we love it and because he's taught us to love it.
But leading your team was hard while experiencing your own grief for such a huge loss. Mark loved training with the team, and the feeling was more than mutual.
He literally, he loved the kids and went beyond running, but it was more the relationship we all want with athletes is to have them listen and understand what we're saying and then applying what you learn in athletics to your life. And Mark was a master at that.
To lose that mentor and that father figure and that coach was really hard. And I think that I was in shock and it took a lot of grieving.
Gigi was one of just 2 female distance runners under Mark's direct coaching, so the loss hit her especially hard.
I've always loved running, but it wasn't until after he passed away that I really kind of gave almost all of my energy into the sport.
For some people, a moment of crisis can actually force them to train harder, and in some instances, people train too hard. So for us, the biggest challenge was to slow Gigi down.
It was a way of coping, of like grieving with everything that I lost from him as a person, just leaving, but it was also a way of like knowing that everything that I was doing within the sport of running and loving it and taking it each step further was for him.
Gigi says her love of running and motivation for Mark is what helped her prepare for the league finals.
Each step I was taking was like a step with Mark, and it was for Mark. Like that's what brought me to the end and to the finish line, and I think that that was our celebration as a team for everything that we've been through.
Gigi won MCALs and was named the Marin County Athletic League Runner of the Year. The girls both hold impressive titles. Sam won state in the 800 meters as a sophomore. Sam was sidelined by injury last year but is back in full health, and both she and Gigi are ready for their senior year with the Wildcats.
One more year here, one more year on this track is really special because this was like the last time that we ran with Mark was on this track.
It's a lot easier when there's a good dynamic between the leaders, and we have that.
They're graceful, they're great leaders, they are strong.
Hopefully, if we can race, I know that it's been a big dream of Sam and I's for a long time to compete against each other.
Gigi and Sam can continue their healthy competition as they both head off to Division I schools next year. Gigi is committed to Vanderbilt, and Sam will run for Duke. And they'll both carry Mark's spirit with them at the next level.
I feel prepared to go into college with that and run at that level with, you know, the ideals and all of the things that Mark has taught us. And I'm really looking forward to being pushed by my teammates, carrying on the idea that, you know, we're running because we love it and we're gonna have fun with it. And it's, you know, it's a different level, but, you know, the same ideas still exist.
They'll take each new experience one step at a time. And remember, it's all for the love of running.
Throughout my time with Gigi and Sam, one of the biggest things they both emphasized was the importance of their cross-country family. They got through everything together and will carry Coach Mark and his legacy with them as they move forward in life.
Yeah, 2 outstanding athletes are doing very well and expected to do well again this year, right?
Absolutely, and this year, and I can't see what they do moving forward as well.
Absolutely. All right, coming up, the longtime coach and his talented pupil.
And later, the big game from our e-game tournament as 49ers Cal High Sports continues. Adobe helps us bring you stories of top athletes performing at their peak each week.
Aubrey, tonight we meet a softball pitcher who won a CCS title as a sophomore. Now going into her senior season, Madi Bajan gives much of the credit to her success to her longtime coach. The last championships for softball in the CCS were held in the spring of 2019. In the Division II final game, an upstart group of young Pioneer Mustangs shocked the world, winning the D2 title. On the mound was sophomore Madi Bajan, striking out 12 and giving up just 2 hits to lead her 5th-seeded team to the title. Not a bad way to end your sophomore year.
Yes, the the best you could hope for.
Madi and her team was looking forward to defending their title, but all spring sports were canceled when the coronavirus hit.
It was very sad, especially like hearing after our last game, we heard that Los Gatos got their season canceled. So we were like, if this is our last game, like that's a horrible way to end. But after we figured it out, like we gave the seniors their senior night and then tried to send them off as best as we could with this situation.
Madi spent her time working on her game. That meant spending lots of time with her pitching coach, George Sylvie. Madi has learned from George for the past 8 years.
It's really different because a lot of my other like teammates, they have like tons of pitching coaches. Like they're like, oh, we hop from one to another, but like it's really special to have like a bond with your pitching coach. Especially like growing up, and like he teaches me a lot of like life lessons too. Like that was his big thing. Like if softball doesn't work out, then like you'll be set with good like life skills.
George is a veteran.
I've been coaching high school ball for 34 years. I had 10 years onto that with baseball, so 45 years altogether.
At 74 years old, George is retired from a job where he worked from 4 to 10:30 every morning so he could have time to do what he loves, coaching young people.
Love the aspect of making the kids have better lives. They learn structure, accountability, discipline, all the virtues they're going to need to succeed in life.
You might have noticed there was nothing in there about fastballs and changeups.
A big thing was like respect towards my parents. So like if my mom was ever carrying my bag, he would tell her to put it down and I would have to like run over and pick it up. Just like respect, like little things like that was like his like big things.
And that is how these two built their relationship. A young Madi soaking in all the lessons Coach George had to offer. In return, Madi dedicated herself to hard work.
Oh, that's a big one. If he had a student that was like just like practicing like every like once a week and then they just practiced with him, he would stop like giving them lessons because he always wanted someone that wanted to work instead of like their parents making them come.
The coach went through a scare 2 years ago, diagnosed with lymphoma. He's recovering now, but it made Madi appreciate him even more.
He went through like some medical issues and we had a really like hard time like trying to deal with that because we were like, if he's like gone, like I don't know what I would do. So yeah, it's just like over the years we kind of just got to know each other and our families just bonded. Yeah.
Now this pitcher and coach are like family. It's a relationship built on years of trust and mutual respect. George and his wife travel with Madi's parents to see her play. For the coach, seeing his player grow and succeed is an incredible reward.
It's amazing to watch the growth of for instance, Madi from being, I'm going to guess, 9 or 10 to 7 years later turned into a woman. Very open-minded, I love that about her. Very focused, and I know she's going to do well in life because she's extremely structured. To achieve what Madi's achieved, you've got to learn structure in life, and again, that's one of the attributes I love about coaching and teaching.
It means a lot to me because I know a lot of people who don't have like such strong relationships, and I don't really see how I could have like a pitching coach relationship with anybody else because like what he's taught me, like not just softball, but like in life is just, I can't explain how I would do it with somebody else.
As Madi heads into her season, she looks forward to playing college ball at Chico State. She looks back fondly on her days as a young girl being coached by this caring man, and then as a high school player celebrating a championship with her teammates, largely because of her dedicated coach. Madi has some advice for today's up-and-coming young players.
Find somebody that you can see yourself like sticking with, instead of like going to a place and say, hey, like I'm gonna go for like 3 lessons and see how it works out, and then find somebody that you can really relate to instead of just having like a strictly coach-student like relationship.
For the coach, it's all about developing players, making a difference in someone's life.
You know, you sure hope so. You know, the thing I keep, and I have hundreds of them, letters that kids that were graduating sent me and told me not only did I get something out of softball, but I learned more about life lessons, and that's what I try to instill in all my kids are life lessons.
The coach plans more road trips to see Madi play at the next level. Until then, one last high school season awaits Madi Bajan, which means more work with the coach who has seen her grow up into the player and person she is today. Mari is very excited for this season and a chance for Pioneer to win another section title. She knows George will be there rooting for her in the stands, of course, with both their families and everybody.
Gosh, that picture of them together when she was 9, unbelievable. Love it.
So cute and such a great relationship. They're both very lucky to have each other.
Great. Well, it's Deja Mu time. Each week, Clover Dairy brings us athletes who are grazing their way through the professional ranks. This week, we feature Tyler Johnson from St. Francis High School.
Tyler was great with the Lancers before going off to play 4 years at Fresno State. He then entered the NBA D-League before signing a big deal with the Miami Heat. Tyler is now with the Brooklyn Nets, finishing his 6th season in the NBA. Coming up, the action heating up in our E-Games tournament. The latest highlights next.
You're watching 49ers Cal High Sports, the #1 high school sports show in the nation.
Some see a grilled cheese sandwich and ask why. I see a new kitchen with a grill and ask why not.
I really need to start adding less to cart and more to savings.
Sitting on this couch so long made me want to make some changes, starting with this couch.
Yeah, I need a house with a different view. And this is the bank that will help you do it all. Because at U.S. Bank, our people are dedicated to turning your new inspiration into your next pursuit.
For more than 65 years, Cupertino Electric has been delivering power and possibilities. With offices throughout California and project sites throughout the U.S., Cupertino Electric today builds renewable, commercial, utility, and data center projects for some of the most influential companies in the world. Beyond that, we are a people company. We build family, communities, and meaningful careers. Visit CEI.com today or connect with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or other social sites to see our openings and join our team.
Devcon Construction is #1 in the Bay Area and Silicon Valley because of trust. 95% of our business comes from repeat customers. They know the customer is our top priority. That's why Devcon was the choice for the 49ers Stadium and for the Earthquake Stadium. Devcon was also chosen when outstanding schools like Bellarmine, the Nueva School, and Mitty wanted the very best on time and on budget. Top Bay Area companies know Devcon is the best choice whether it's new construction or renovation. Devcon Construction, helping to build the best in Silicon Valley. Our E-Game tournament continues this week with the regular season heating up.
The cream is rising to the top in the tournament. Here's action from this week's big game.
This event is powered by the UGL. Tonight's matchup features undefeated Skyline versus Oak Grove.
My name's Simeon Milan. I go to Skyline High School and I'm using the Chiefs. Good, I went undefeated. I plan to stay undefeated.
I'm David Rodillo. I go to Oak Grove High School. I picked the Seahawks because I like how they have hard hitters and I like hitting fumbles and I like making big plays with them. I'm trying to put up a fight and just hope for the best.
First KC possession on 3rd and 8, Simi finds Travis Kelce deep down the middle for a 35-yard TD pass. Drodillo bounces back on 3rd and goal, taking Carlos Hyde in for the score, 7-all. Next possession, Simi finds the cheat code Tyreek Hill for a 42-yard touchdown to go up 14-7. Drodillo, not backing down, drops back with Wilson and connects with Tyler Lockett for a 68-yard TD to tie the game. Midway through the second, Simi finds Williams in the flat on 1st and goal for a 5-yard score. Now looking to tie the game, Drodillo drops back but is picked off by Simi, which changes the momentum of the game. Next possession, Simi, Mahomes, Hill, you know what time it is, touchdown KC. Simi looking to put the nail in the coffin, drops back and finds Hardman deep for another KC touchdown. Drodillo, not going down easy, takes Carson in for the score on 2nd and goal. But on the very next possession, Simi shows you why he's undefeated, taking Travis Kelce, bouncing off defenders and taking it straight to the house. 42-24 Chiefs is your final.
I feel good. Got my dub in. I just try to switch it up, spread it out, you feel me?
I'm feeling good. I got the run game going, but I made a couple mistakes, especially in the second half, and he capitalized.
Yeah, for the whole time.
Thank you.
All right, bro. Good game.
GG.
Follow UGL on social media and subscribe to UGL World_TV on Twitch to view the full game.
The Harkers Gold brings us the Scholar Athlete Awards each week. This week we honor Taylor Hardley, who we just met a bit ago. Despite all she's been through, Taylor has a remarkable 4.0 GPA.
That is remarkable. Brought to you by the Harker School. Earlier this month, Harker senior Anna Verich took part in the 14th annual Desert Twilight Cross Country Meet in Arizona as an unattached competitor, placing 12th out of 110 runners. Verich is currently the CCS Division IV champion and is hopeful for another strong season once competition starts in December. At Harker, transitional kindergarten through 12th grade students discover their passions. Learn more at harker.org.
Be sure to check us out on social media for lots of fun content, including videos, news updates, and lots more. We're at 49ers Cal High everywhere, including TikTok.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updates on when new videos are posted each week.
Coming up, the two Senegal hoopsters playing for Prolific Prep. This is 49ers Cal High Sports. We'll be right back.
49ers Cal High Sports is brought to you by these fine companies who care about high school sports. By Lexus of Stevens Creek, we get it. By Clover Sonoma, the #1 milk brand in Northern California and proud partners of the 49ers. And by Devcon Construction, build, design, perform, sustain.
We are back with our Service by Medallion feature story for this week.
Tonight we meet a couple of members of the Prolific Prep basketball team who traveled a long way to play for the Crew.
Black on the baseline, black on the baseline.
Prolific Prep is home to some of the best basketball players in the country. So for a player like Muhammad Gay, the trip from his hometown of Sali, Senegal to Napa, California seemed like the opportunity of a lifetime.
Finally! Oh, I got in here when I was 16, yeah. Oh, I wanted to be a basketball player because my family is kind of basketball family too. My grandpa, he used to play for the national team, and my cousin too. I had a good opportunity here in Prolific to be better and be known, yeah.
Muhammad is in his second year at Prolific Prep. He says the transition from Senegal to the U.S. wasn't easy.
Oh, it was very difficult at first because we got a big family and we all live together. So I got 3 siblings, 2 brothers and 1 sister.
Luckily, when he arrived in Napa, Muhammad immediately met someone who would make him feel right at home.
I got a teammate in here, he's from Senegal too. He speaks Wolof, so we speak Wolof all the time.
Yeah, it was great for me because, you know, we can talk, me and him.
Falou Cissé. Falou is also from Senegal. He grew up in a town just 30 miles north of the town Muhammad grew up in. Falou has been in the United States for 5 years.
I came here like to play basketball and for finish my for school, and that was a tough decision though, because my family they said no, you cannot go to USA. It's too big, and first of all, you don't know the languages and people different. Yeah.
After some convincing, Falou's family allowed him to come to the U.S. The most difficult part about the move, the language barrier.
Yeah, that was so hard for me because I couldn't say anything. So in class, I was so quiet. I couldn't say anything. I would just be like that the whole time.
When Muhammad and Falou met for the first time 1 year ago, it was friends at first sight.
The 9th of November, my birthday, I got here, they was playing, and after the game, he come to me and say, "What's up, bro?" He's Wolof, and that's why we bonded, yeah.
So you guys are good friends now?
Oh yeah, he's my best friend.
Muhammad is like a really nice person and, you know, help other people, and he's a good player too. I think this year is gonna be a good year for him.
Falou, he's one of the best defenders in the country, but people sleep on him. He's really nice, always laughing, got a good sense of humor. He's a leader too, he worked hard, and he's good, he's really good, I love him, yeah.
Falou says he hopes basketball will create opportunities for him and his family.
To play a big role because just helped me a lot. It helped me to get in the USA. You know, it's a big, big opportunity for me, you know. And I can be able to go to college and play in the NBA. Sometimes I just say, wow, I'm just lucky, I'm blessed.
Flu wants nothing more than to be united with his family.
My goal is like try to bring my family in the USA, so you know they can be with me. I think that's good, you know.
As for Muhammad's goals, well, he says what's best for the team is best for him.
We got a team goal to win like the national championship like last year and the Geico too. And I think that's the main goal. If we like good as a team, personally, I think you're gonna get better. People are gonna notice you. And just gonna come together, I think. And I'm a team guy, so winning is the best thing.
Program, first of all, they just want to make you to be like a better person. And they're gonna, for academic, you're gonna do good and you have a good team. So you know, that's a good program for me to come here. And I think I made a good choice to come here.
How awesome are those two? Falu and Muhammad are best friends, hard workers. They love their time in the U.S., but do miss their families. Muhammad said, do you know what his favorite American dish is, Muhammad?
No, I forget.
Sushi.
Sushi?
That's what he said. He loves his sushi.
That's like tacos, a famous American dish. Absolutely. Coming up, we'll preview what's coming up on our next week's show.
But first, here's this week's training tip by our good friends at the Reicha Center.
Hey, I'm Coach Juan Pablo. Today's training tip is resist rotation press. Rami here is going to demonstrate the exercise. We're going to start with a split stance position and do 3 different positions. So left leg forward, right leg back. You're going to press out, keep your hands in line with your sternum. Go ahead and press out, back in, do 1 more. Then we're going to drop, get down a little bit lower. 1 press, come back in, drop down all the way, a knee inch off the ground. 1 last rep, go ahead and press out, come back in, and that's your resist rotation press.
That's our 49ers Cal High Sports for this week. Thanks for watching. I'm Robert Braunstein.
And I'm Aubrey Tolliver. Next week, we'll feature a Bay Area soccer star working hard as she gets ready for college. One of the best in the nation on the show next week. We'll see you then.